Okay, so I saw a lot of movies over the weekend. So I'm just going to sort of sit down here and review a lot of them. The first one I'm going to do is Gamebox 1.0, which I feel very strongly about. This movie is bad. It's a terrible movie. It's a stupid concept. Okay, let me just lay out the concept for you. A guy gets mailed. A guy is a video game tester, and his girlfriend died. I just have to say that the main character, the actor who plays the main character, actually does a good job. He actually does a good performance as the character. Everyone else, every single person in this movie, is just a very annoying, stereotypical main character or villain. And this main guy gets mailed a video game called Gamebox 1.0, hence the title. And he puts on the headset, and it's basically a virtual reality game where you are actually inside the game. And if you die in the game, you die in real life. I have one thing to say to whoever wrote or directed this god-awful movie. Do you think that anybody would notice you were ripping off one of the best horror movies ever made, and one of the most popular horror movies ever made from the 80s? I'm specifically talking about, this is directly ripping off Nightmare on Elm Street. It's a direct rip-off of it. It's directly ripping off from the concept of the game box. That if you die in the game, you die in real life, and you actually get hurt. That is the... there have been spoofs and parodies, or just horror movies in general, that borrow some of the concepts of, Nightmare on Elm Street, or, Friday the 13th, I know what you did last summer was basically the same, basically borrowed from from Friday the 13th. This is a direct rip-off of it. It's a direct rip-off of Nightmare on Elm Street. It's horrible. I can't believe somebody wrote this, put it on film, and said this was a good idea. Nobody will ever notice that we ripped off Wes Craven's Nightmare on Elm Street, which I'm a big fan of. I love Nightmare on Elm Street. I thought the first movie was amazing. I thought it was a really good movie. But this is just horrible. I mean, it's god-awful. It does not deserve to be on film. The special effects, dear God, these look like a green screen test from, the late 80s, early 90s. It was made in 2004. It does not warrant this bad of special effects. I mean, Toy Story was made before this. Terminator 2 was made before this. And those all had really good computer graphic effects. This is just horrible. It looks like it was green screened. It looks fake. It looks like just crappy designs from maybe a Nintendo 64, not the next advanced thing in 2004. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Xbox 360 was coming out next year at that time. And the Xbox 360 had better graphics. GTA had better graphics. And it's just horrible. It's god-awful. I just can't believe it. I just can't believe that... You know what? Maybe the writer was so naive that they thought that nobody would notice that the special effects sucked, they were ripping off Nightmare on Elm Street, and all the actors were terrible. Maybe he was just that naive. But I doubt it. This is a horrible movie. I just can't believe it was ever put on film, and it's just... And one thing, I watched this on Netflix. It's instant streaming on Netflix, and I don't recommend going to go watch this, but it was marked under horror. This is not a horror movie at all. It's not horror. I would count it as crappy teen drama, possibly like Twilight, except, you know, worse special effects and using video games. But God, this is a horrible movie. If you want to watch something like this that's good, go watch the original Nightmare on Elm Street. But this movie, it's just so bad. God. Okay. So that's my review of Gamebox 1.0. I thought it was terrible. So, yeah. I'll see you guys with my next review.